All right, so on Twitter, I just got this message. Uncle, I have 110 USD. What can I do with it? My answer was, no, that's not me. Where's my answer? Anyway, I'm going to show you my answer. In this brand new, copyable, downloadable, Bitcoin-signals.org Futures P&L strategy with compounding profit strategy. Okay, so let's start with not $120, $200, just to keep it simple. Let's start with $200 and say we made 30% here. What would be our profit here so far? And voila. So this is where we're starting. What would happen if we scaled this 30 days? No, 60 days. You'd be amazed. So the next day, we're up $78 profit instead of the $60 profit. Doesn't seem like a huge stretch, but by the time we compound everything all the way down, it's huge money. You want to see? How about we do it? Let's do it for 30 days first. What? You would have $300,000 in 30 days, starting with $200. You don't believe me? Let's do this slowly. Let's look at it slowly and make sure that we're only growing by 30%. Only growing by 30%, right? This is only 30% bigger than this. This is only 30% bigger than this. This is only 30% bigger than the previous one. It's all only 30% bigger than the last one. And we have $300,000 in a month. Now, let's see what would happen if we took this out to, I don't know, 2 months. I know it's going to be ridiculous. But, and you haven't figured in liquidations and losses. That's right, we're going to do that. Let's do that. But let's first get a perfect scenario with 60 days worth of trading. You would end up with $1 billion. Yep, you would end up with $1 billion. This would be your latest balance. $1 billion if you just started with $200 and made 30% profit every single day and just compounded it all every single time. You would have $1 billion in 2 months. Now, that's impressive. That's how compound interest works. If you're only going 30% more than yesterday, 30% more than yesterday, 30% more than yesterday, right? Now let's get a little more realistic and throw some liquidations in there. How about that? You want to do that? Cash me outside. How about that? All right, so this is the side with liquidations. What I'm going to do is start liquidating shit. Our current trading average is about 1 in 9 trades we take a loss. We don't get liquidated necessarily, but we take a loss. So if we average everything out, let's just say 1 in, 15 trades, we get fully liquidated. Okay, so that's realistic actually. So this is the 15th trade. I'm going to mark this red. So this is the amount of money in our account after 15 days of hard trading and we just got liquidated. You want to see what happens to the rest of your future? 0. Let's see what happens. You knew that would happen, didn't you? So the trick to becoming a billionaire by trading is not to get liquidated ever. Thanks for that video. I learned a lot. Bye-bye. No. What we're going to do is we're going to throw in a third or a second column, which is the fourth column, but it's in the second place, and say instead of constantly going all in, going 30% on all-ins, what we're going to do is say, I'm only going to risk 30% of my balance. At any point, maximum 30%. There's going to be some riskier trades where I only risk 10% of my balance, and there's going to be some trades that are so definite, we might actually do 100% of our balance. But for now, let's just say typical maximum is 30% fractional risk total. This is what it looks like. If you start with this much money, $200, and you only risk a third of it, and you make 30% profit on a third, you've only made $18, which is just about less than 10% of your total, which is okay though, because now you have $218 that you start over with, and then you do it again. Only take a third of that, 30% of that, and you made 30% profit. So your new equity is that. Makes sense, right? So you're not making money off this whole thing. You're making money off this column, and you're making 30% profit a day. Let's see how much that adds up to. Starting with $200, remember that. Starting with $200, your new balance every single day goes up by, it doesn't go up by 30% anymore, does it? It only goes up by about 10%. But even at 10%, at the end of the 60 days, instead of having $1 billion, well, it's not bad. It's actually more realistic. You have $32,000. Really? Really? $32,000 in 2 months. $32,000 in 2 months, starting with $200. Let's do that again. $200 equals $32,000 in 2 months. Who makes $32,000 in 2 months? That means you made $15,000 a month, starting with $15,000 a month, starting with $200. And all you did was risk a third of your actual holdings, never going over a third. Oh, right, but we said we'd throw in a couple liquidations, right? So let's do that. 1 every 15, this is actually about right. 1 every 15, one of our trades gets liquidated. But we generally use really, really tiny amounts of money for liquidations. What's correct? Yeah, this is actually correct. So let's do this. We used $183 in this particular trade. Let's just say we lost half of it here. And we're going to do this a couple times, because once every 15 trades, we lose money. So I guess in 60 days, that would be about 4 times. Let's do that. Let's make a couple more red lines. This looks fair, right? This looks pretty fair. All right, let's get to it. Let's start losing money. I'm going to say we had minus 90 bucks in this case. And then here, this is the amount that we're trading with. Let's just say minus, I don't know, minus $404. The whole thing. Let's just say the whole thing got liquidated. Minus 404. Here, let's do a stop loss and say minus, wow, look at that, $1,000. How about minus $300? Okay, and here we had $1,700. Let's say we lost half of it again, minus $800. You would still have $10,000. Starting with $200, you would still have $10,000 in 2 months. $200 to $10,000. It's not as sexy as $30,000 or $20,000, but it's not bad for starting with $200. Now let's say more realistically, and this is an actual realistic schedule of our profits and losses. So let's say you started with $2,000. What would happen? If you started with $2,000, you would end up with, not bad, $100,000. Even after taking serious losses, $3,000 here, $13,000, almost a full liquidation here, $2,000, half your money gone here, half your money gone here again. You would still have $100,000 starting with $2,000. Now this, you're starting to see a pattern. Let's see what happens if you start with $20,000. It's going to be pretty simple, right? If you start with $20,000, you just add, well, you'd end up with $2 million. But I didn't do proportional. Let's do this proportionally. Let's just say minus $150,000. And then let's go up here and do minus, I don't know, a third of this would be about $60,000. And then let's give a full liquidation here. This is a lot of money. Minus $46,000. And then let's say we did a $9,000 minus. Minus 9, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now we should be back down to about just under $1 million, $700,000. $700,000 starting with $20,000. Because you're only using a third of your money. You don't end up with a bunch of zeros like we did down here because you got liquidated, because you're only using a third of your money. But what would happen if we raised this to 50% of our bank? Now, we did a new column. Isn't this fun? Okay, 30% versus 50%. 50% versus 30%. We're going to see what happens if we use half of the money that we have in our equity instead of 30%. Let's try that. You ready for this? If you used half your money instead of a third of your money, and you made 30% profit per day, see, everything's verifiable. We're making 30% profit per day, 30%. So this should be 30% bigger than, actually no, it should be 30% bigger than 30%, 50% of this. So it should be about 15% bigger. Each column should be 15%, 15%, 15%, 15%. So one is 15% greater than the last one, okay? Verified. Man, look at how fast these numbers add up though. And then what we did here was we took a 50% loss here, $61,000 to $30,000. What we did here was take a full liquidation, 200,000 minus 200,000, 216,000. Here we did a stop loss, partial liquidation, $300,000. Here we did a over half, just about half our money gone on this one. Look at that, millions of dollars. You're losing millions of dollars every couple days. And yet, if you started with $20,000 and you make 30% profit on half your money every single time, you're only making 30% profit on half of your money every single time, 50% risk, fractional risk. $24 million in 2 months. $24 million in 2 months. $24 million in 2 months. What can you buy with $24 million? How many houses can you buy? You can buy 10 $2 million houses by starting with $20,000 if you risk half. You want to compare the two now? If you risk a third, you would only have $700,000. If you risk a half, you would have $24 million. $700,000 versus 24 million. Wait, did both of these things start at $20,000? Yeah. Starting balance for both was $20,000. $20,000 here, $20,000 here. The only difference is here I'm only using 30% of my money. Here I'm using half of my money. But the trouble, the real trouble with this is that here, here in this column, if you only use 30% of your money, you can afford to get liquidated twice and still have money to play. In a row. Twice in a row. Here, if you get liquidated twice in a row, you want to see what happens? Let's try that out here. 216, 465, let's see. 465.89 minus, okay? And then let's do this minus thing again. Equals, equals, and actually, what am I doing? Let's just do a minus 108,232. 108, I mean, this is pretty obvious as to what's going to happen, right? 108,232. Wait, what's going on? 108,232, 216. Did I do this right? Oh yeah, I did do this right. Because of the fact that we're only using half our money, we're only liquidating half our... So, oh, good. Scared me. So let's see what happens then. 2 full bad-on liquidations at a time. So let's say you got drunk one day and then the next day you got liquidated because you had a hangover. Let's see what happened to your money. 14 million. Still not bad. Still not bad. 2 liquidations in a row. 14 million. Let's see what happens over here. 2 liquidations in a row. How did I get liquidated for more than I actually spent? I guess it's possible in internet land. Let's do this. And then let's here, 28,000. Okay. So minus 28,499 minus 28,499. You want to see what our new total is? $300,000. That's still not bad. We were almost at $1 million and now we're at $300,000. Not bad for 2 months worth of work, going from $20,000. Even with 2 liquidations in a row. 2 of them liquidated in a row. Anyways, I'm going to have this chart up for you to play with and just fill in the balance of how much you're starting with and what percent. Yeah, I really would recommend anywhere from only using about 30 to 40% of your money. I wouldn't even go 50% of your money every single trade. 30 to 40% of your trade, money per trade. And make sure that you're only getting liquidated one every, say, 10 or 11 trades. Make sure you're only losing money one every 10 or 11 trades. And that's all you have to do. You can get this, you can make this on your own. But if you want it, it's going to be at bitcoin-signals.org. Get rich